Hello everybody, my name's James. Welcome to the Planet FPL Gameweek 4 Deadline stream. And it's live and it's in partnership with FPL Team, your one-stop shop for all your FPL planning. Download the app via the usual app downloading places. Shout out to my man Peter Featherstone, and also a shout out to FPL Captain, the man on the graphics, who provides this beautiful outlay for all you people every week. Let's take you through some of the bits on screen that you can see. Top right hand corner is my team. Transfer has been made. James Maddison in for Garnacho. It means João Pedro, despite the fact he probably is going to start this week, drops to the bench. I'm a 3-5-2 this week. Johnston, Gusto, Estupinan, Chilwell, Saka, Martinelli, Rashford, Mitoma, Maddison, Watkins. Naturally, Haaland, captain. On the screen at the moment, you can see my predictions for all 10 games in Game Week 4. The surprising one there might be Bournemouth to get something at Brentford. And you should now be able to see my top captaincy picks in order of preference. I'll be honest, this is not the week to try and take on the big Norwegian. I would suggest against what's probably going to be a Fulhamless João Paulinho. Although, is the deal off? It sounds like it might be, because the German deadline was 5 o'clock and I don't think it was completed in time, which is madness. Bottom right hand corner, you'll see my predicted lineups for all 20 teams this game week. That's spinning round and round for you. Right at the bottom of the screen, you'll see the fixture ticker. That's the next 5 game weeks fixtures for all 20 clubs. The colour coding is based on FPL's FDR. And right below me, you will see the benching dilemma screen that will rotate during the course of the screen. There are 5 pages. Pages 1 to 4 run in order. So if a player's on page 1, he's favoured over a player on page 2. The player with the tick is the preferred choice to start out of those players. Page 5, as on screen now, is goalkeeping dilemmas. Onana doesn't appear there because I'd pick all 5 of those goalkeepers to start this week over Onana, because I'm a bit worried about what might happen to Manchester United at Arsenal on Sunday. And yes, the deadline stream does go ahead because I'm getting a bloody coach to Burnley tomorrow. Yay. Come on, you Spurs. And we got Luton West Ham tonight. Right, that's the bits and pieces done. Questions will be answered in order that they are submitted. I suspect there's going to be a lot of Sterling, Maddison or Rashford. And not Rashford, who's the other one? Sterling, Maddison or Foden. Let me explain. So Maddison's a long-term choice for me, where I want him to go in and he's going to stay in there for me. I think for those going short term, really just a couple of weeks, I'd arguably say preference is with Sterling. If you're prepared to take the risk and the gamble and you want the biggest upside of all, I think that's Phil Foden. But my transfer is based on me making a transfer over a longer term period of time. So Maddison's in, and as long as he stays fit, the intention is he's going to stay there for quite a while. That's the reason why Maddison's got the nod for me. The other thing for me personally as well in terms of over Sterling is I've already got 2 Chelsea. And I'm a little bit conscious of, I'll block myself Nicholas Jackson. And I might also be blocking myself Cole Palmer as well, 4.9. So for me, it just works out best for Maddison. That's not necessarily going to be the best answer for you. So the right answer between the 3 is probably down to your own circumstances and what you particularly want with your own FPL team. As ever, guys, play it your way. Let's get into the questions. Anybody who asks about Maddison, Sterling, Foden is literally just going to get 2.5 minutes into the stream. Rewind. Andrew Grondin says, hi James, haven't seen the team news yet. Have you been able to sniff out any significant Phil Foden poop leaks for the weekend? Well, I know Luke, this FPL, has predicted that it will start. And is it Main Road at MCFC who's had a few leaks recently that I think he's been passing on to FPL Raptor. And I might have that wrong, so apologies if I have. But he's generally been on the money, and he seemed to think that that could well be the team that Luke had predicted on Twitter as well. So, look, usual caveats. There's a risk that comes with Foden that doesn't exist with a Sterling or Maddison. But yeah, look, the predicted lineup I've got on screen right now for Manchester City is the exact team that Luke's predicted as well. Mike says, hi James, should I sell Reece James now or ignore the incoming price drop and roll my transfer for after the internationals? Have a decent start at 11 with João Pedro first on the bench. If you don't need to make a transfer, there's a strong case to say obviously just roll it and don't particularly do anything. But judging by the comments today, I wouldn't expect Reece James back in game week 5. So I think it's get it moved on, really. It's going to give you a headache. you probably want a few games of him back before you go back in, by which point Chelsea's good run of fixtures could well have ended. So I'd probably say move it. Like if you don't have Gusto, for example, or another cheap enabler like a Kabore or something, arguably do it and set yourself up for more power. You won't obviously have the 2 free transfers next week, but you set yourself up in terms of more power of moves. So maybe that's the sort of right thing to consider. I would say, generally speaking, for those who are really in doubt, yeah, rolling is obviously a sensible idea, I think, this week, because the deadline's still open. It's open until 11 o'clock tonight. The Saudi transfer window is still open for 2 weeks, and obviously there's a load of internationals where we know it's almost a definite that an important FPL asset will get injured during the international break, because it always happens. So if you're unsure and are thinking of rolling, that's probably the recommendation. But in that case, for someone like Reece James, it's probably a bin. Someone who's got Luke Shaw, that's a definite sell, 100%. Ethan Hood says, hi James, you reckon Paulinho plays tomorrow now his deal to Bayern has collapsed? I mean, like, I'm trying to keep in touch with what's going on. Do we know definitely that it's 100% off? I'm just trying to get some information on it, but it does appear that it could be off. Could he go to Manchester and play? I guess he could, which would certainly make a difference, but he obviously won't be part of any of the preparation or anything, so I'd probably be surprised if he starts. Could he get a plane straight to Manchester? Yeah, maybe. Possibly. Is he going to be in the right frame of mind to play? I don't know. It's an odd one, isn't it? Jock says, hi James, should I use Salah out to get Maddison or Sterling, or keep Salah and use Rashford out? It's tough. Listen, you know when you're selling players like that, what can happen. I'd arguably say Salah might be the second best captaincy even this week, arguably. I think Liverpool Villa could end up quite open. I wouldn't be staggered if Villa went there and got a result. But also wouldn't be staggered if Liverpool put a few past them in the way that Newcastle did. So, yeah, home fixture, Wolves next. I'd be a bit reluctant to sell Salah at this particular stage, I think. Offers an amazing differential for you. So it's probably Rashford. But consider rolling. Project FPL says, would you do Martinelli and Anderson to Maddison and Sterling for -4? I should clarify. I'm going to guess that's obviously Elliot Anderson. It must be. And leave 0 in the bank. Or Martinelli to just 1 for free. And if this option, which one? So I wouldn't be keen on selling Martinelli. It's not really crossed my mind from my perspective for this particular week. And if I think he's going to start Everton, I don't think he'll be going in game week 5 either, as it stands, to be totally honest. So again, just consider he's rolling, the right thing to do here. He's really Maddison away to Burnley better than Martinelli with a home game at the Emirates. He's Sterling. Sterling scored a couple against Luton. He's now a better option than Martinelli. So I think it's a free transfer. I get it. The thing with that project is obviously if you're bringing both in, someone's going on the bench instead. So that's really relevant to who the -4 is for. So I can't really truthfully answer that, because presumably someone else is going on the bench instead, because I'm assuming he wasn't going to start Anderson. So that's important. So then it's Martinelli plus the person that's going on the bench is almost the effective -4. Sit down and ask yourself if that's worth it. I've gone for Maddison, so I'm going to advise the same. If you want something really short term, I could certainly get why you'd go Sterling instead. Kenneth Fast says Pedro to Jackson or Alvarez for a -4. Or just play Archer for his debut. Good luck, James. Thanks for everything. I think playing Archer's okay. I know Tomo said on Clash of Correspondence this morning he thinks he'll start. If you were ever going to play him, this would be the fixture, wouldn't it? I don't hate it. I don't think it'd be for most people, but I don't hate it. Andrew Gronin says bench Isak, Jota or Rodri. We really having that conversation, are we? Rodri, I think. Mind you, that said, surely Núñez plays for Liverpool tomorrow, and in that case, Jota probably doesn't. Am I really going to say play Rodri over Jota? That doesn't feel like it makes any sense at all. But there's every chance of Rodri chipping in tomorrow. Sod it, bench Jota. Nikolai Utne says, hi James, happy Friday mate. 1 free transfer, Mitoma to Maddison or Sterling, or should I just roll? Skip it. You will have heard my answer and my reason already, so I'm going to skip it. I'm going to warn this, guys, for those joining in. If you want my opinion on Maddison versus Foden versus Sterling, just go to 2.5 minutes into the stream. Patrick Lawson says Martinelli to Maddison worth a free transfer. Already have Son. No. Hasselbank is win. Thoughts on Harry Kane start at Bayern Munich? How many trophies will he win this season? However many domestic trophies can he win? Was the League and Pokal Cup, is it, or something? What's he got? 3 and 2 or something? I'm not surprised. Yay. I've not seen any of it. Will Jones says, hi James, hope you're well, pal. Just slightly away from FPL for a moment. Who's your top 5 manager rankings in the Prem, preferably in order? I know it's a toughie, keep up the great content as well. Postecoglou top, Postecoglou second, Guardiola, Klopp, Arteta, De Zerbi. Can I say Ange? Can I put Ange there? Maybe. Can I put Ange? Can I put Ange? Maybe. Let's escape that and not piss anyone off. And I'm gonna say Thomas Frank 5th for what's being achieved there. I bottled that, didn't I? Bertica says, hey James, possibly that Cam Archer and João Pedro both start. I can only play one. Who should it be? So it's still Pedro, I think. Just a dad posting stuff. Hello James. Rashford or Maddison scored the most this week. We'll go with Madders. Scott Park, start Bulldog or Saliba. They're both on the bench in dilemmas. You'll find them right next to each other. And you'll find I've actually gone Bulldog. Mahyar, that's on page 4 of the bench in dilemmas. Mahyar A, that's right below me. Mahyar says, good afternoon, James. Would you recommend selling Luis Diaz for Foden? If Nunes starts, Diaz might sit out. He might do. But I think he was taken off for tactical reasons last week. So I do think Diaz would start. I don't mind that move, though, Diaz to Foden. I think that's all right. The Palms 9 says, thanks for the good work. Do I start Gusto or Cash? Gusto. With Estupiñán and Chilwell this week. Unsure because bench Cash last week, which hurt. Yeah, it's probably not going to hurt in the same way this week, is it? Andrew Jarvis says, afternoon James, is Matoma to Maddison worth it for -4? Wait until next week to make the transfer. Best of luck for the game. Smash that like button. What do you think Matoma gets this week, Jarvo? What we saying? What would be an average here? Sort of 4 to 5 points. So for Maddison to be worth it, what does he need? The 9 on the projection. If you were doing it on projections, you wouldn't do it, right? Because you wouldn't have Maddison to score 4 more points than Matoma. So truthfully, it's still a home game for Brighton. Still a home game. Newcastle might be without Botman. That might have an impact. It could even be that Trippier gets shunted to left back. It's not impossible if that's the circumstance. So Mitoma would do him for pace anyway. So he gave Newcastle a torrid time in that fixture game week 2 last year when he came on. So I'm going to say no, mate. No, for free. I get it. Mitoma is possibly on a chopping block for me in future weeks. For a hit out, not for me right now. P. Cat says, hi James, you probably had this question already, but Mitoma and Rashford out for Maddison and Sterling. Or just one and roll the FT for after the international break. Sure. Mitoma to Maddison. There you go. Mr. Dyer says, what do you think about Rashford to Maddison? Yeah, similar. This is going to be really repetitive, this one, isn't it? Billy Taylor says, hey Jimbo, I'm on Wildcard and have Semenyo in over Jackson with 4.0 in the bank. Main reason being I don't want regular benching headaches. Do you consider this when making your team at the start or on Wildcard? But consider you might get 2-3 injuries in your national break and then that headache will have done you a favour, mate. Start with Jackson. Andrew Grunin says, buy Madders, sell Martinelli or Odegaard for him. That's tough. Probably just Martinelli, just because going forward in future weeks, I'd be very surprised if Martinelli didn't start Sunday. But just going forward in future weeks, you know, with Champions League starting up, it's probably a little bit more risk to Martinelli, isn't there? So I'm going to say sell Martinelli. Fish says, you're a legend, James. Do you think Visser is a minutes risk compared to other strikers? And for this week, start Visser or Maddison, Bruno. Start those guys over Visser, definitely, in my opinion. I didn't even put Fernandes on the bench in headaches. Do people really want to consider benching him? I'd play him. I'd play him, personally. Can return at any point with the set piece. And he's kind of similar for Maddison. Kind of put Fernandes and Rashford together on the bench in headaches, if you will. No, I would start them both over Visser. Do I think it's a minutes risk though? No, not at the moment. It looks like what they wanted to get. They wanted to get Bakayoko from PSV and he turned it down, didn't he? So it looks like they're going to get Maupay on loan by the sounds of it, and that's not really a threat to Visser, I don't think. Sam Williams says, hi James, 2 from me. Firstly, would you prefer Jackson and Bowen / Ward-Prowse or Visser and Gusto. Secondly, I can get your thoughts on Giovanni Dos Santos. Don't think I've heard you talk about him. Prefer the Visser Gusto route. On Gio, I was so excited when we got him. Absolutely. Talented player. Wasn't built for our leg, in all honesty. Underwhelmed. I'd never say he was terrible. He just never lived up to the expectations. I wouldn't say he was a bad player. He didn't really fulfill what he wanted to do. Like, his best spell in his career was probably in the MLS in the end. So, yeah, disappointing one. It was such high hopes when we got him. He felt like a real... Probably feels a little bit like how Brighton felt getting Ansu Fati for this season. Super talent. It just didn't work out, to be totally honest. Not dislikable in any way. Reece Ferguson says, is this the week Richarlison actually returns, or would you swap to Maddison if the rest of the team is all good elsewhere? God, I hate this. Richarlison for me is in a no-buy zone at the moment. But I think he's still rough to sell with these 2 games. Could Richarlison outscore Maddison over the next 2? Yep, he could. He could. I'd leave it, I think. I think I'd leave it and I'd give Richarlison Sheffield United, and I'd have absolute plans to sell something else and then probably come back for Maddison sort of game week 8. That's probably what I'd be thinking under that circumstance. Reece Ferguson says, yeah, that's what we've done. Neil Kager says, hi all. Hello Neil, hope you're well. FPL Sponge. Currently sat on the tarmac at Frankfurt Airport. What has been your favourite holiday ever? Hashtag play it your way. Amsterdam, May 2019. Great couple of days. James Nelson says, hi James, would you sell Bruno or Rashford for Foden this week? And if so, who? Plan would be to keep Foden for 4 weeks and wildcard game week 8. Loving your content. Thanks so much for amazing content. Well, as covered earlier in the week, based on what we've seen so far, it almost makes more sense to sell Rashford. So yeah, I don't mind it. Andres says, hello buddy, started Stupinan or Henry? It's a Stupinan, you'll find both on the bench in headaches, mate. FPL Sponge, hit the like button and subscribe. Yes, guys, about 15% of you have hit the like button, which is pretty disgusting, really, isn't it? Free stream, doesn't cost anything. Smash a like. Forever's watching in the FPL Juice studio, by the way. Shout out. Love you lots. Hello. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Owen Walsh says, bloody hell, I'm still laughing at Lego Head. Good luck this game week. That's class, that. Yeah, I'd never heard it. Maybe Google it if people don't know who Lego Head is. Adam says, last deadline stream, I politely advised you to play Gusto over Pedro, and you told me where to go. Ha, ha, ha. How did the bench points feel on a serious note, not throwing shade? It's all right, mate. Like, it is what it is. The reality is, if Luke Shaw hadn't got injured, I wouldn't have even bought Gusto. So, and it's a bit of value on him. Bought him at 4. He sat there in place. I would have been selling Shaw probably for Gusto this week. So, like, it's fine. I can live with my decision. That's part of the game. Once I make my decision at the start, mate, what will be will be. So, I made my decision. I explained my reason why. By Saturday morning, it was quite clear it was the wrong decision. You live and learn. That's how it goes. Sean says, after a decent start, 150k, I've decided to get both Stern and Maddison for Martinelli and Rashford. Is selling Rashford right now really that bad? General consensus seems to be hold. Part of my thinking as well is, like, once you sell like a Rashford, looking at how to get Salah becomes a really long way up. And it starts becoming -8s for people rather than -4s, I think, in some circumstances. And I'm very, very conscious of that. If you know you want to sort of wildcard game week 8 or 9, it's not so much of a problem. If you're like me and you're thinking maybe holding that longer, that possibly becomes problematic. And that's not to say that I won't sell Rashford, by the way. But I've got to be, not now obviously, but in future weeks. I need a consciousness about it. If you were to sell, clearly away to Arsenal is probably the right time. You've made your decision. It's fine, Sean. Good luck. LH says, just dropping in 2 free transfers done. Madders and Sterling in no headaches this week. Have a good one and 3 points for your lot tomorrow, pal. Good luck. Nicola Torco says, James, would you prefer Robertson to a doggy? I mean, that's a good start. Or Pedro to Visser Jackson? I prefer Jackson. Visser considers bringing in Salah for 5 and 9 for Rashi. Arguments to hold or sell with Stupinan this game week. Nicola, you've already answered your question. You've already answered your question. You've already said what you prefer, mate. My opinion's irrelevant. John Alistair Castle says, hi James, Newcastle fan, love the draw. Yeah, good luck, mate. Proper glamour ties, just what we wanted. Which one to drop out? Saka, Rashford, Eze, March or Mitoma? Is that a bench or sell, mate? Which one? God. It's arguably Eze. I just don't see Palace doing a lot at the moment, to be honest. But he's talisman, and if they have a good day, whereas say a March or Mitoma could completely miss if Brighton do well, right? That's kind of how it feels. I wouldn't like considering benching Saka in any game, bar maybe Manchester City away. Kind of similar feeling on Rashford, to be totally honest. I'm going to very reluctantly say Eze if that's the benching headache, mate. FTLOL podcast says, evening James, sell or keep Mitoma for the next few. 1 free transfer and 2 million in the bank. Tripled up City and Arsenal. Look, here's what's interesting about this. So it's Manchester United next in game week 5, which is obviously pretty tough as well, right? Then it's Bournemouth at home, 6 is attractive. Then there's 3 tough fixtures. They look tough, but Villa away with their high line, Liverpool at home, their high line, might be decent for him. Then it's City away, then there's really good fixtures again for Brighton. So it's probably a consciousness of like, if you end up holding Mitoma through, that's possibly 2 transfers for you for something else. Like, what can you do with those 2 transfers? So it's not just a straightforward, sell him. So again, if you're going to sell, there's certainly a case to say now would be the right time, and I don't have a problem with it. But if you're not sure where you're going, it's an easy keep for me. Neil Kager says, just did Mitoma out for Maddison. Here for the always enjoyable 30 wisdom from James. Very best of luck, my friend. Andrew Jarvis said, do you see many players heading to Salby from the Prem after the European deadline passes? No. I'm sure there will be, but many no. Like, I don't see this Salah deal happening, to be honest. You'd have to get silly. Look, if they do get silly and start going sort of 175 million and stuff like that, then Liverpool have obviously got a really big decision to make at that point. Because at some point you go, well, they're offering way more than the realistic valuation of the player. What do we do here? And that could apply to a lot, right? Maybe they'll come and offer me 80 million for Richarlison. Who knows? Barry Allen says, hi James, hope you're having a good Friday. Happy with team, but have 2 transfers. Thinking Onana out for 4.5 goalkeeper. Who would you suggest to go with Turner? Arguably still say Johnston. Roy Hodgson's obviously confirmed it will start tomorrow. And I don't particularly think he's any worse than Henderson. So I think until he cocks it up, he'll keep the shirt. I'm on the Johnston-Turner rotation. It's good for a really long time if you're looking quite far ahead. If you're looking short-term, and you think, again, you're going to sort wildcard sort of game week 9 or so, and to be honest, people won't like it, but Pickford still. The Pickford-Turner rotation is he's all right. It's okay. Okay, Arsenal at home in 5's not great, but you play Turner against Burnley. It's fine. Brentford away 6 is the one that's not ideal for Pickford. It's okay. It's all right. A Wood says, afternoon pal, rare, no Haaland lunatic in the wild card. Salah, Saka, Martinelli, front 8, debating Martinelli to Foden. Thoughts. Martinelli to Foden, like, if you're on the wild cards, like, fine, I can completely get why you do that. I'm not reading the rest of your team out, but very best of luck. Randy Kim says, James, on wild card, should I buy Jackson or Watkins? I already have Chilwell and Sterling. Thank you and greetings from Indonesia. Depends how many planned transfers you've got in, because if you haven't got any planned in, then I would go Jackson for 3 or 4 and then 2 Watkins. Penguin says, hi mate, great input as always. In a quandary, Onana and Mitoma out for Flecken or Areola and Madders for -4. Mitoma out from Mbumo Bruno for 0 or roll. You're not going to buy Bruno Fernandes this week, I don't think, are you? I think it's roll, mate. James Smith says, hey James, what to do with Richarlison? Lots of alternatives. Yeah, it's tough. I have sympathy. I had a very well-known FPL content creator I sent a message to because I wanted to make sure that they were an old doggy owner and I wanted to make sure they heard my old doggy faults, and they come back, they've got Richarlison. I was like, fuck, mate. It's so rough. I think it comes down to how you feel, right? If you're proper sick on it, move it on. But, I mean, in terms of 2 fixtures together, arguably you couldn't ask for much better. So if it was me, I think I'd hold. I think I would hold and just let it go and say, you're not my biggest problem over these next 2 weeks. Let's see what happens. Goro says, Darwin or Visser for 8 for Taka. Oh, I want to tell you Darwin. I really do. But I don't think that's the sensible answer. JP says, who would you go for from João Pedro out of Jackson and Alvarez? Me, probably at this minute, I mean, I'd be I'd be treble Chelsea, treble City, so I'd cut off Sterling and Foden either way, so arguably neither. So it might come down to that. How many have you got from the other two teams? Look, we think he's going to start tomorrow. He's obviously, clearly, it's going to be an ongoing problem. But with Welbeck out, I think we'd have to assume at this stage that he probably does start tomorrow. Is it your biggest problem? Can you get through this week without? If you wanted to go one at this stage, my honest take would be, yes, he blanked at Sheffield United, but it probably would have been going by last week. Jackson, we needed a little bit more on, I think. So I'm going to say Jackson. Joshua Tan says, hi James, play Archer or take a hit for Pedro to Jackson, Vissa, Alvarez. I'd say play Archer, to be honest. Although I'd say play Pedro over Archer, if that helps at all. Nigel Sam says, hi James, would you please arrange the following strikers based on order of preference for the next 5-6 game weeks? So you've got Isak, Watkins, Antonio, Vissa, Alvarez, Jackson. Good luck this week. So 5-6 game weeks. I mean, you can always bin it somewhere through, can't you? So I think the right answer here on that would be Jackson, Alvarez, Watkins. Isak's really tough now because of that draw. But I'm going to say Isak, Visser, Antonio. Marcin says, hi James, just say good luck this weekend and to you too, mate. Alan Holohan says, cut my losses with Richarlison and move to Maddison Sterling or give him 2 more fixtures, losing a ton of value. That if the value's enough that you're really concerned, move it. Right? And that goes for anybody. But as previously answered for somebody else, I'd probably sit there and take it at the moment. Ricky Donahoe says, would you drop Onana from -4? I would never move a goalkeeper from -4, to be totally honest. Oh, look, my wife is sending me her team. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Any money? She needs to do something. Yeah, I don't like hits for goalkeepers, just generally, mate. United could lose. Look at Alisson last week, right? He conceded at Newcastle, walked away with a 5-pointer, right? Is it that impossible for Onana? Nah, for a -4. Steve Grimmer says, hey James, Pedro to Vissa for a hit. I've been a really good boy so far this year and avoided hits. I'm going to tell you to avoid another one. Patrick McCarthy says, use my 1 free transfer. Should I take a -4 in defence when it consists of Gabriel Shaw? Have 1.8 million in the bank. Well, it depends who your other 3 are, right? If you're sitting there with a 3 like me, Estupiñán, Gusto and Chilwell, it's difficult to foresee where the hit would be worthwhile for you, right? So it depends what the other 3 are. LP says, hi James, Maddison and Foden in for which 2 of Rashford, Bruno and Martinelli? Ideally keep both for 2-4 weeks. Cheers. I'm going to say sell the United players then, if you insist. Toby Evanson says, hi James, thank you for all your hard work. Hit the like, people. With Mbama on my bench losing value, is it ever worth a -4 or is it best just to wait to wildcard? Thank you. -4 to replace one shit player for another shit player. You're throwing away 4 points, mate. No. Connor McLaughlin says, hope you enjoyed Wembley. Would you swap out Rashford for Sterling or hold so I have 2 transfers after the break? I'd certainly understand the appeal of the free transfer, yeah. I probably would. If it's free, my original thinking going into this week was probably going to be Rashford to Foden, but then João Pedro became more of a problem. And was influenced by, let's be honest, Foden not starting last week. What happens next? Obviously Jeremy Doku being signed, but the original plan weeks ago would have probably been Rashford to Foden at this point. Plus what I mentioned earlier about concerns about what if I do want to get up to Salah in the near future. Joseph Robinson says Gvardiol out equals start of City trolling in Sky FF again. If he is, mate, yeah, and that's the prediction, yeah. So this isn't something that I didn't know could happen, obviously, right? So the good news is, she's got no money in the bank. Crap. Her bench is quite decent. Harry Wilson. No, she needs to get rid of Gabriel, doesn't she? Oh, she's got no keeper. Well, she has. She's got Turner. Flappy's doing nothing for Jeez. Okay. Let's do that. Areola for Flappy. Okay. I've just told the wife to buy Areola and start him. Okay. That'll go wrong when we're watching the game tonight. Luton score after 1 minute. Andre Kim says, hi James, want to get Maddison. Would you rather sell Rashford or Mitoma? So I need the cash for other areas of my team. Or would Rodri be better? Would you do either for Mitoma today? Yeah, I don't mind JW as a longer term. Would I make that move? No. Got Liverpool and City after this week as well. So, and it's Liverpool away, City at home, reverse order. So, no, leave it be. Ralph Free says, hi James, 1 free transfer. Would you rather do Botman, Trippier or Jota to Maddison? Or I'd leave that with Botman at the moment. But again, Botman's obviously a big doubt. So what's on your bench? Jota to Maddison would be the preference. By the way, guys, can we smash a like, please? Would be very much appreciated. Greg Williams says 2 free transfers with 0.5 in the bank. Have João Pedro as second striker with Salah, Saka, Martinelli, Bruno, Mitoma, thoughts. So where you going with it, mate? 0.5 and what do you want to do? You want to go to 4.5? I don't know what the rest of your team is. Not that I want to see the whole of your team, to be honest. But those midfielders, I mean, Salah, Saka, Martinelli, Bruno, Mitoma, I mean, that midfield's fine, isn't it? Me, personally, if I was cutting something from there, I'd cut Bruno, right, personally. I'd cut Bruno, and I've already gone over the Maddison, Sterling, Foden stuff already. Zachary Jones says, Jackson or Alvarez? Jackson. Max Me says, hi James, Colwell to Chilwell from -4. Have Sanchez in goal and starting already. What do you mean you ain't got transfers? You must have one transfer. You must have one. Florentine P says, hi James, Ederson in for Pickford from -4. No, I can't. Oh, I see. Oh, fine, leave it then. Fine, leave it then. She's already bought Antonio. Fine, leave it then. Sweet, cheers. Yeah, cool, love you, bye. Who am I? No, not. You're never going to get me saying -4 for a goalkeeper, honestly. Never. I can't foresee a certain one. We ever go, yeah, take -4 for a goalkeeper. I just can't foresee it. Andrew King says Pedro to Morris or Saliba to Gvardiol. Don't buy Gvardiol maybe at the moment, to be honest. 2 free transfers, 0 point in the bank. Would you bench Gusto or Udogie? Would I bench Gusto or Udogie? I'd bench Udogie probably from that, I think. If it's double Chelsea defence should be in the same position as me, to be totally honest. Pedro to Morris, yeah, he's alright. Luton have got a good run for 6 weeks or so it's fine. Don't know how happy you'll be comfortable when to start him every week, but unstable relationship says, hi James, start one of Colwell, João Pedro or Archer. Chilwell already in the team. I'd start João Pedro, but then I'm a lunatic. Connor Norton says, hi James, would you roll your transfer this week? Would you use it? Well, I've used it. Thinking Gabriel for a Newcastle asset or maybe a Tottenham player. Again, what's on your bench? So that if you're sitting there with Gabriel on the bench and you're like, oh, I like my team, I'd probably leave it and get a bit more information. Fighter Jets is saying, yes, it's off. I'm going to presume that's in relation to, obviously, the Paulinho deal. You've got eyes and ears on a few things in terms of if there's any potential worthy information worth selling. Sharing. Get my words out. But there isn't any at the moment, and that would be FPL or transfer related. Ready Can Dance says, hi James, bench one of Baldock, Estupinan or Ake. Baldock tempted to bench Ake as he might not start. Don't want the cameo. You probably won't be cameo points as one blessing with Man City. Alex Manichu says, hi James, start Rico Lewis in capital letters over Estup in capital letters and hope he either starts or doesn't get subbed on. No, play Estupinan. Rennie Rocker says bench Cash or Kabore. That's an interesting one. I'd probably play Cash because I think he probably does play right midfield again. Fighter Jet says, hi James, do I sell Salah? Do I sell Sarah? I'm going to read it as it is. Hi James, do I sell Sarah with a 175 million bid coming with possible add-ons taking it to 200 million? I mean, look, if you can get a replacement wife for, a couple of £100, probably consider it. Renner, once will do, mate, because you just get muted, mate. Greg Frost says, João Pedro might start because Welbeck is out. Thanks, Greg. Yeah, I know that, mate. Stian says, who to bench? Son, Alvarez and Bumo. God almighty. Son. With mad reluctance. Jack says, hi James, non-FPL question, mate. How would you rate Spurs' business under Ange this summer? Personally find it slightly underwhelming. Think we need another centre-back and striker, but also hopeful, mate. Yeah, but the problem's been getting players out of the club, right? So I get it. It's fine. I'm content. Uros says, hi James, good luck this game week. Saka, Martinelli, Bruno, Rashford, Mitoma, 2 free transfers, 0.5 in the bank. What would you change? I would change Rashford to Maddison. Mr. J. Leaf says, as someone who doesn't have Haaland, thoughts on Maddison or Visser as captain? No. There's a lot of players you can see on screen right now who I would prefer to those two options. Daniel Wedgwood says, bench Bruno Fernandes or Visser. Visser. Frederick Hertz says, hi James, going to Emirates Sunday. Who would you better out of Nketiah, Pedro and Eze? Is this like a bench job? Again, probably Eze. Ryan, I think Nketiah starts, personally. But no, do you know what? That's probably still the right answer, is Nketiah, in case it doesn't. Ryan McQuillian says, hi James, bench one of them. Bumo, Diaby or Alvarez. I'm going to say Diaby. Michael Scott, with possible Gvardiol benching, would you start him or Saliba? Yeah, still start him. Yeah, Pete with Gvardiol, still start him. Because he probably doesn't get on, so that's what your bench is for. J. Broski says, en route to Brighton for the weekend, hoping for a great game. Hope you're well, mate. Yeah, I am, mate. Hope you are too. Safe travels, enjoy it. Antonio Grauvac, sorry, says, hi James, Porro or Doggy for Gabriel. Porro, do it. There's bigger risk with that, but maybe better upside. Kara is 95 says, hey James, João Pedro to Archer this week, then Anderson to a 6.5 next week, or Pedro to Alvarez and keep Anderson. I feel like that question just was never going to end. Not enough money in the bank for Jackson. Pedro to Alvarez, fine, mate. Auntie says, keep Botman. Yeah, sure, but what's the rest of your squad look like? Human Madman, why are you clean shaved? Haha. It's not really. It's just my shit lighting. Stian, repeat questions just get muted, mate. Abdallah says, hi James, Rashford to Maddison. Sure, fine. Jason says, hi James, started Stupinan or Cash. Stupinan. Matt Martin says, bench Saliba, Stupinan, Watkins. Saliba. Darius says, Martinelli to Foden for -4, not keen. Chatman Tip says, I've got one free transfer, team is strong and I'm 10k rank. Bought Richarlison in for Maddison last week with the injury news, give him one more chance. Yeah, sure, why not? Geordie Lee says, hey mate, Rashford to Foden and play Stupinan, or do Shaw to Henry and play Rashford. Rashford to Foden. Cole Miller wants you to smack the like. Champman Tips, I've done that, I'm fairly sure. FPL Nazu says, hi James, different ranking to transfer in with Wildcard 9 in mind, and Bumo, Foden and Bowen benching for difficult games next game. I'm not sure what your question is, mate, but good luck. Frank Seagull says, come on, you don't remember your time in Amsterdam. Nope. No recollection at all. More the better. Kanji FPL says, ideas about a future Johnson transfer. Don't worry about it at the moment. It's not in my thoughts, generally. Until he cocks up, I think he'll stay in the team, so I'm not bothered about it. Neil Kager says, hit the like, show your appreciation. Thank you, Neil. Uros says, benches Stupinan or Colwell. Let's say Colwell. Lewis Rowland says, like the stream guides, come with you Spurs. I presume it's come with you Spurs, says Coys. Clive Fisher says, benches Stupinan, Gvardiol, mate. Keep going back and forth. Probably won't matter. I'd go Gvardiol, personally. Yeah, chance it. Garlic 25 said, made early transfers this week. Gabriel Martinelli out for Gvardiol. Madison, hope you have a good weekend. Safe travels to Burnley. What do you think best sign the deadline day is? Thanks. Brennan Johnson, obviously. Stian says, wildcard active, bench luxury. Son, Alvarez and Bumo. We've done this, mate. If I see it again, it's goodbye forever. FPL Maestro says, Diaby to Sterling for a -4 hit. Nah. I think it'd tick over really nicely, Mr. Diaby. He's a player people will want in a few weeks. Steve Liss says, hiya, what's your thoughts? Archer or Stupinan first off bench? Thank you, Stupinan. Cian Lynch says, hey James, best of luck this game week. Who do you prefer to start between Pinnock and Saar? Saar. Football is life. Hey James, come you Spurs. Hello, my friend. That's Jamie Piggott, for those who don't know, the FPL 21-22 champion, who I had on the podcast and asked him about his overall wank rather than rank. And that's in the back catalogue with a couple of thousand other podcasts. Danny Butcher says, hey pal, what are your thoughts? I've got 2 free transfers, thinking Mitoma to Sterling and Rashford to Maddison, but not sure about the Rashford transfer. Well, if you're not sure, don't do it. Lincoln Begg says, hey James, love the stream, and Boomer Sterling, cheers Sterling. Charles Hancock says, hi James, move Pedro to Alvarez. Not seeing this talked about a lot in the community, most focused on third phone, and what are your thoughts? You've done it, good luck, it's fine. Ashley Wood says play Archer or João Pedro. João Pedro. Jack O says start Cash or Pedro. Pedro. There's a lot of people antsy about João Pedro, aren't they? Looks like he's probably going to start, guys. It's got home game. Craig Boy Crook says, hi James, you diamond you diamond you. On a wildcard, best goalie combo for you. Money, no objects. I'm assessing fixtures. Flecken, I think, and Turner. I think probably. But I've only looked at that really short term. Matthew Ormian says play Ben White, Callum Wilson or Eddie Nketiah. Like that one. That's different. I would say Nketiah. Stian says, hey James, what is your take upon Son in FPL? Got him in my team, have not given up on him, have you forsaken him? Similar situation to Richarlison, right? It's 2 really good fixtures, but he's not worth that money right now. And that one, because of the value, I'd be way more tempted to sell. Perlo's Pen says, hi James, good luck with the game week. Always love you. And Serge PS, open up the super chat. One day maybe, mate. But obviously, if people do want to support the show and offer financial rewards for our hard work and this stream that's free, please support us at www.patreon.com/planetfpl. Over 20 podcasts every month for intermediate tier and above, and over 20 additional pieces of video content for advanced tier patrons, which includes the popular Talking Tactics, Chip Talk, and plenty of others. Brian Robinson says, hey James, recommend everyone subscribe to Patreon. Yes, Brian, perfect timing. Brief question to ensure I'm reading your benching headaches correctly. Given that you have Rashford/Fernandes ahead of Maddison, that's a role transfer. Yeah, genuinely. Yes, probably. I would have considered it in all seriousness. But to be honest, my more take is Maddison's not just this week, it's next week and stuff as well, right? I'd not be comfortable leaving those 2 out. In any fixture, I don't think. Any fixture. So, Burnley-Tottenham's almost more unpredictable in a weird way. Like, who's going to dominate the possession in that game? I'm not even sure. If Tottenham play like I played at Fulham, it'll be Burnley. Driss says, I won't, I don't think. Driss says, I can just go Richie to Maddison, but I want the feeling of having kept him and be rewarded. So I'm thinking Rashford to Maddison. Is it just stupid or really, really stupid? I don't think it's okay, to be honest. And you've got 2 weeks of the 2 together. You include a differential, and then you've got more information. You've been Richie afterwards. Branislav says, hi James, good luck with the game week. I'd love to hear, how do you see Spurs line up in attack with a new signing? Richarlison's abysmal form, still why I'm not selling for this game week and also after the break. Look, Richarlison, I've said it several times, I think I want to judge it after 10, 12 games. So Johnson, I think, immediately comes in and puts the pressure on Kulusevski rather than Richarlison. That would be my instinct. Dally Paul says, I'm on bench boost, but I have Mo Salah and 200 million bid incoming. But if you're not sure, pull the trigger. Would be the advice. Martin Hewitt says, hi James, excellent content as always. Smash that like, people. Benching headache of João Pedro or Tarkovsky, best of luck. I don't think that's a headache, mate. Just play João Pedro. Steve Liss says, hi, what's your thoughts? Archer or Stupinan? It's Stupinan. Oh no, he's gone past a load of questions. Sorry. Who asked that question? Stian, there's several different ways you can answer the question and all get answered the same way just by changing the word, and it's the same thing. I'll get bored quite quickly and just mute you, mate. Honestly, I'm not asked. Right. Hugo Smith, hi James. Should I do Mitoma to Mbumo or Sterling? Should I also do a Stupinan to seat defender -4? No, you don't want to be doing that, I don't think. No, what's wrong with Stupinan at home to Newcastle? We're shitting ourselves for. It's fine, man. The guy's a machine. Mitoma to your preference there. It's fine, not a problem. It's about 10 minutes to deadline, guys. Laser79 says, hi James, Rashford for Sterling for the -4. Thanks for the content, like, share, people. Wouldn't do it for a hit. Spencer Rouse says, start Pinnacle or Estupinan, Patrick McCarthy, Union James. Would you chance a Gabriel start or take a -4? Depends how much you need it, right? But Gabriel is an ongoing problem that's never going to go away. So if you need the cover, get something that's longer term that's better for you. Kieran Newland says, thoughts on Johnson with Henderson coming to Palace? Shall be said in the coming weeks. I've covered this, I'm sure you've heard. Ross Cordinley says, hi James, have exact funds for Shaw to Trippier. Would you make the move tonight before Shaw drops again and prices me out? How confident are you with Kieran Trippier starts without Champions League draw? Think about it and then you'll decide. Generally speaking, it's 2 weeks before the next deadline. I would advise against going early. Stian, you've done it, mate. Simon B says, hi James, would you get rid of Gvardiol and Sky based on team rumours? Nah, stay there for the minute, mate. It's fine. When I got him, I didn't think, he's going to start every game anyway. And there's loads of escape points. So, yeah, we'll see. If he didn't start Fulham and then doesn't start West Ham as well, then he's going to be the one that goes to Awoniyi on that Sunday rather than Colwell. That would be the thought process at the moment. Varun says, hey James, would you transfer Mitoma for Sterling from -4? No. Nick Hill says, hi James, should I play Sanchez or Areola? I have Chilwell in my starting lineup as well. Slight preference with Sanchez. Karim says, hi James, bench Udogi or Estupinan? Udogi. Rui Vicente says, a hit for Walker Porro to play or play cash? Play cash. Toby Spencer says, Udogi for Saliba or Baldock? What, to buy? Fine, cool. There's a little rotation risk, but it's a little bit safer than I felt about it this time last week, I'd add. GP says, so now we know the only way to jump the queue on your deadline stream is to be your wife. Great stream as always, James. Thank you and good luck this weekend. Listen, if you want to be my wife, I could definitely consider replacing this one, to be honest. Simon Johnson says, hi James, thanks for the content. Much appreciated. As always, what are the key things that you take into consideration when deciding if it's worth taking a -4 or even -8 hit? Does it pay off immediately? Can it wait a week? Is this a short-term decision? Is this a long-term decision? Is this something I have to do or want to do? Mainly Minimal says, hi James, Pedro to Alvarez for a hit. Thanks. No. Barry Allen says, thanks James. Johnson for me. Not sure when I'm going to wildcard. Good luck. Enjoy the trip to Burnley. No snow this time at least. I wouldn't bank on it. Gareth Hutchinson says, why is everyone jizzing their pants over Foden? Am I missing something? Maybe. No, I'm not going to say that. But Gaming says, is Emerson starting? Which one? Tell me which one and I'll tell you. My predicted lineups, full 20 teams are going round on the screen, mate. And they are predicted. That means like I don't know. Josh Turnbull says Martinelli to Maddison or Pickford to Sanchez. Roll. Generally would I'd say. If you've got the 2-3s, Pickford Sanchez. Josh Turnbull, like has been smashed. Thank you, Josh. Sweet Blue says, wife sending you the team, asking for advice is the best parts of the deadline stream. Just got to hope Fabianski doesn't randomly start now. But she hasn't done it because she'd already bought Antonio. So she had the right idea in terms of buying West Ham. Lewis Rowe Lanio says, hi James, got 2 free transfers and 1 million in the bank. Looking to move on from Stones, Mitoma and Pedro. What would you do? You've got 2 free transfers, you've got 1 million bank, looking to move on from Stones, Mitoma and Pedro. What would you do? I'd keep John Stones, because there's every chance to be back for Gameweek 5. Genuinely. You've got 2 threes. Depends. Do you want to set up with the front 2? Downgrade Pedro to 4.5. Steve List says, happy wife, happy life. Yeah, I got an unhappy life. Concept says, hi Consa. that kind of came out wrong. Hi Consa. Daniel Pedersen says, hi James, thanks for the quality content as always. As a transfer now, who would you pick out of Sterling and Boomer or Eze with Game Week 9 wildcard perspective? Raheem Sterling. TSAFC says, hey James, would you start Henry or Stupinan, Nathan Jackson, Onana or Turner? I'm going to say Turner, mate. Jamie Kennett says, hi James, on wildcard, start Vicario or Areola this week. Apologies if you see this post deadline. Probably Vic. If you paid 5 million for him and you don't want to start him at Burnley, probably needs some questions, doesn't it? Concept says, hi James, hope you've had a great week. Would you start Watkins out of Vissa, Jackson or Antonio, please? Sorry, would you transfer Watkins? Nah, keep Watkins would be my take at the moment, mate. He's another one. Fast forward 4 or 5 weeks, people are going to want, I think. Andy Dunderdale say, play Udogi or Estupinan. Want to dance with Estupinan. Darragh Burns says, hey James, Udogi or Pedro Porro in this week. Pedro Porro's I asked for someone else. I would arguably gamble it at this moment. Yeah, I arguably would. Sebwa says, hi James, on the tilt, please help. Right, don't do anything. That's it. I've done -4 to bring in Mbumo and Madders. Should I do another hit for a defender as I've got Shaw, Gabriel and Baldock? Nah, I just play Baldock, mate. Thomas Dalrymple says, would you take a hit for taking Gabriel out for Udogie or Vardiol? No. GP says, should I sell Vardiol and get Udogie? I need Vardiol to play this week and could do with that 0.4 for my transfer in Gameweek 5. Yes, I know I should not have bought Vardiol if I needed him to play. Buying Vardiol, listen, I was advising people to buy Vardiol last week, mate. It's absolutely fine. It's something I could have easily ended up doing. It was probably him or Gusto for me last week, so don't regret it. It's fine. But have you not got any option of something else rather than reversing that straight away? Rene says, thank you. Hit the like. Thank you very much. Callum says, do you think Rashford to Maddison is worth the hit for the next two? Crystal Ball says no. Nathan Jacobson says, hi James, would you play Onana or Turner? Done that. Turner. Peter Randall, 4-point hit for Pedro to Alvarez. I'm going to say no. Stian says, tactical in-depth question. What is your take upon Liverpool transfer strategy? Seems like they focus upon attack while ignoring their defensive focus. Will this hurt LFC in your view? So Gravenberg and Endo are incapable of playing as a 6. Mawasi says, hi James, good luck this game. I mean, the two centre-backs are injured and still able to fill Matip and Gomez. It's tough, right? It's tough adding and improving that. We knew the midfield was the priority. Mwesi says, hi James, good luck with this week. Did you forget Mbeumo on top captaincy pick? He'd be second or third for me, honestly. Nope. Look at my prediction for the game. It's on the screen now. Harron says, triple captain Haaland, worth it. Nah, he's probably going to have a double in game week 20 that's called Brentford at home and Sheffield United at home. Patrick McCarthy says, hi James, I used my free transfer for Jota to Mbeumo. Should I -4 when my defenders are Gabriel, Shaw, Bayer, Chilwell, Estupiñán are the only guaranteed stars? Smash a like, folk. Yes, in that circumstance, yes. And Shaw is the first one who should go. SP says, start Diaby or Estupiñán. More difficult one. Estupiñán. Popey says, hi James, any of these? Eze to Sterling, Bruno to Maddison, Pedro to Vissa or Salah, Eze to Sterling, Maddison. For what? For free? For -4? For what? Why not just do all of them from -12? Adam Bailey says, start Mitoma or Estupiñán, Mitoma. Hussein Ali says, double Chelsea defender or Estupiñán and Chilwell. Estupiñán, Chilwell. Estupiñán will get the favouritism. But I'd have Gusto ahead of Estupiñán. So it depends what that second Chelsea defender is. But if it's like Silva or Colwell or something like that, I'd play Estupiñán. Hunter Type says, hi James, Odegaard or Vissa? Odegaard. Stian says, okay, I will change my question. You're very welcome, mate. Archie says, Estupiñán or Watkins start? Watkins. Thomas Dalrymple, play Edward or Watkins? Watkins. Stian says, what is your take upon LFC transfer strategy? Mate, can we stop with the repeat questions? Seriously, you're holding up other people. Ryan Orr says, James, loving the plod. Martinelli out for Maddison as a free transfer this week. Or keep the transfer and have 2 transfers over international break. Keep, roll. Torfig says, hi James, who to bench, Jota or Martinelli? Jota. Detaf says, pa ha 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 ha. Stian, we've done it, mate. Sorry, I've had enough of you, mate. Honestly, take it out in my DMs, mate. Relay, just for doing the same thing and putting like alerts out there over and over again, you get the same treatment, mate. Honestly, it's so boring and all you're doing is just denying other people from their questions. It's not fair on others. Lewis Cole says, play Colwell or Morris. Morris on pens, mate, I think. Yeah, close. Neil Kager says, hi James, for post deadline chat, thoughts on Southgate squad picks. I did a piece on this yesterday for advanced tier patrons and I'd love whatever, innit? England are basically qualified. The second game's are friendly, so he wants to look at Nketiah. People screaming, this player should be in, Watkins should be in the squad. Watkins ain't getting on the pitch anyways. It doesn't matter. He's going to play Kane. He knows Watkins capable. He wants to look at Nketiah. Fine. Oh, Maguire's in the squad. Why is Maguire in the squad? Well, Stones is injured. Every alternative that people suggest is also in the squad. Like, whatever. It's bigger things to moan about at this stage. If it's a final tournament, sure, but it's fucking friendlies basically. England have qualified. Russell Baker says, hi James. Oh, I'm not reading your old team out, mate. Sorry. Best of luck. 1 minute of the deadline, guys. Lloyd Brown says, I've gone triple captain Horn, let's have fun. I always fail at double game. It's now. Wish you the very best of luck, Lloyd. I'm going to answer your question, Russell. So it says at the end, do I Rashford to Sterling, Pedro to Jackson or roll? Pedro to Jackson. There you go. Sod it. Cosmas says, hello James, I moved Timber out through Doggy. However, I'm benching him this week. Question, should I have him as first sub over Archer? Yes. Brian says non-FPL. Any surprise summer transfer deadline transactions you're likely to see for some chaos? No, I mean, these days, by this time of day, we'd know most of the rumours. It's just a case of whether they happen now or not. Sama says, shall I do Odegaard Mitoma to Maddison? I'm going to say no. And I'm also going to say deadline is here. Very best of luck with whatever your choices have been for game week 4. If you came just for the FPL content, smash a like, close the door behind you on the way out. If anybody's got any non-FPL questions, happy to cover them for 10-15 minutes or so. Before I do, obviously it's the start of a month. It's normally a good time to support us on Patreon. If you like to support the content or would like additional content, please join us on www.patreon.com/planetfpl. If you have any questions about Patreon, I'm happy to answer them here or privately via DM if you would prefer on Twitter or X or whatever it's called next week. If you ask me a Patreon question, I'll answer it. If you send me a screenshot of your team, I'm just going to delete it. I'm not going to accept the request, that's being totally honest. If you tag me on Twitter, I never understand this. People slide in the DMs, thoughts and all this shit. If you tag me on Twitter, I'll answer it. And I'll probably quote tweet it so other people can see the answer and stuff. I can't bother to look at DMs. DMs are open for people who want proper real life help and stuff. Anyway, content next week. Main podcast review on Monday. Tuesday, clash of the correspondents. Nottingham Forest versus Burnley with Mark Southerns and Jack Toner. Wednesday, Sky Fantasy Football. Clayton's joining me for this one on Wednesday. It's his first year playing Sky. So we're going to get a new player perspective, which I think would be quite interesting to do during the international break. Double COTC for you this week. Another one on Thursday for you. Manchester United versus Brighton with Gary Robinson and Sam Murray. That is what I've got in the schedule, isn't it? Yes, I think so. Friday, Ask James, time to be confirmed. It might be at a strange time next week. Obviously, there's no Premier League football next week. Patreon content this week will be on Monday, Q&A. Tuesday will be our final transfer window show podcast with me and Clayton. Wednesday will be Tottenham rather than Tottenham this week. Thursday will be Money in Football with myself and Suj, which we're going to title Life After Football. And on Friday, something very, very different that I've decided to do. It's my boy's first day at school next Friday, and I'm going to do a podcast solo called Being Dad. And if you want to hear that, join us on Patreon. From intermediate plus tier and above, the podcasts are available. You can support the show from as little as £3 a month. If you want to get into Slack, that's basic plus tier, etc. Any questions, happy to answer. Again, if you've got any non-FPL questions, throw them in the chat now. We'll get them covered. As said, if you just came for the FPL stuff, have a great weekend. Very best of luck to you. Matt, deadline's gone. Not doing anymore. Jamie Baker says, good luck, James. Like the stream, everyone. Deadline's been and gone. Sweet Blue says, you could do with some chat mods, James. I've got them. They just don't turn up because it's so sick of people. But yeah, it's been a while since I had to mute someone. It's boring going round and round, same things over and over. It's quite clear that I'm running through the questions, I think. No, it's there, it's in the pinned message. Robert Pollitt says, how do you feel about Brennan Johnson? Yeah, all right. Like, look, I'm not unhappy and I'm not pleased. I'm not really fussed about it either way, to tell you the truth. I have question marks. I also think I summed it up quite well when me and Clayton was discussing him on Patreon yesterday, and I said, I'm not overly convinced, but we've only really seen him playing a counter-attacking team. So how that translate into a team that now wants to dominate the ball, we don't know. We don't know. So, yeah, look, a new addition's a new addition, right? Do I think he's worth the money? To be totally honest, on what I've seen so far, no, not particularly, but it's not my money. And I realise transfer fees are going through the absolute roof. He's young, so if it doesn't work, there's obviously resale value there, etc. So he's a talent, he's quick he's multifunctional, which I think Tottenham are looking for that sort of thing. Players who can play in several different positions, that's good. Adds depth. We probably were looking a little bit light in terms of the front three with Kane obviously gone. So yeah, sure, fine. But I'm not doing cartwheels about it either. Birth Media says, hi James, which three players reached 200 points this season? What's your prediction except Haaland and Salah? Don't know if that... Salah might not make 50, mate. Saka. I think if Foden stays fit, he might do it. But he's got to play regularly enough. And still don't doubt Rashford's potential longer term to just go off at moments. FTLOL podcast is your top 5 films. Jesus Christ, I can't remember the last time I watched a film. Not a clue. Not a clue last time I watched a film. Favourite film, Usual Suspects. But I'm not a film buff, mate. Just not a buff. Star Wars 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm lying, like I've never even watched any of them. Jamie Kennett says, thanks for asking my question, James. I have a trip to Burnley. I'm definitely going to have a trip to Burnley, but I know what you meant. Thank you, Jamie. Owen Walsh says, B team in Sky has no captain tonight. Worth a transfer for coverage or leave it slide. General consensus was leave it be. B team where you want to try things a little bit more. I don't mind so much, mate. If you were doing that, I would probably go Bowen. But I'll probably leave it, to be honest, mate. Got nothing to... We haven't seen a game on Luton's pitch or anything. We've got nothing to go on, really. We haven't seen Luton play at home. It's just calculated guesses, isn't it? Michael H says, hi, James. How are FPL price changes calculated and has the system been reassessed since the large increase in players? Don't know. Don't know. If I knew, I'd probably come up with my own website. Or actually, I wouldn't, but Suj would. And we'd do our own price prediction site or something. I've no idea. That would be one for like Fix and statistics and those sort of sites to answer. But the algorithm changes slightly every year, I think. Sean says, why does it take you for so long to ask about with European fixtures? Been sat here for over 24 hours now. Leave the house and Ryanair bang £300 on. Yep. Yeah, similar happened to me last year, mate, unfortunately. So, yeah, it's to do with making sure teams aren't in the same city in the same week and dodgy clashes and those sort of things, although it still seems to happen. Like West Ham got caught in trouble in Seville last year with Frankfurt fans, didn't they? Which wasn't West Ham fans' fault, I should add. Although that was the knockout stages. So, or was that? No, actually, that was the year before. Tell her that was the year before. Yeah, they piss you off, and to be honest, it's really pisses you off if it's Champions League as well. She's like, come on, it's yesterday the draw. So yeah, it's frustrating. Brian says, great content as always. Thank you, Brian. Hookie5 says, cheers for the stream, James. Thoughts still the same with Salah leaving? Yeah, I think he'll stay. Yeah. Unless someone says something the last hour and a half and I'm unaware, and that's possible. But yeah, I think he'll stay. Like I said, look, if the money gets too ridiculous, then there's a decision to make, isn't it? If the money goes way above Liverpool's valuation, there's a decision to make. And they might go, we should take it. And they all might decide that together, including the manager, maybe even. Stephen Smalley says, will you be training for your son's sports day, James? Probably not. Hookie5 says, where do you think Spurs are lacking this season apart from up front now that Kane has gone? The big thing, I discussed this on our Tottenham Patreon pod on Wednesday, is like if there's key components missing for Tottenham at the moment, we're in trouble. And those key components would be Vicario, Van der Ven, Romero, Bissouma, Maddison, and beginning to make a case that the sixth of that might be Udogie through that middle. And remember, Udogie's going to come into there, right? That's just a big downgrade. Ben Davies playing there instead, unfortunately. So it's through that spine. Goalkeeper, centre backs. Bissouma is almost completely irreplaceable, and Maddison you can get away with possibly. Bissouma's the most important one of the lot, and it might even be that Vicario is next. Because that with 4-star, like, I don't mind him as a backup keeper, but it's like, it would be like, you know, like we do freeze frame. Like watching Vicario and then watching Forster's, like I'm watching the same thing, but I'm now watching it on freeze frame. Everything's just so much bloody slower, unfortunately. So it's good cover in those positions, which is tough, right? And it's a new process. It's not going to happen overnight. Randy Kim says, what is your best advice to be happy again in life, James? I'm struggling right now. DMs are open, mate. Genuinely. I think people, I'd summarise a little bit, like there's no answer. I'm not like a psychologist or anything. People find their happiness in different ways, right? So for me, it's with my boy. He's doing this a little bit. It's with Tottenham when it's going well, to be honest. It's finding the things that make you happy. Me telling you what makes me happy isn't necessarily going to be the answer that obviously makes you happy. So look, Randy, drop me a DM on Twitter, yeah? Jamie Baker says, I've got the pleasure to be having a son on the way in December. What would be your one piece of advice? One is difficult. First thing, congratulations, obviously. That's not the advice. I'm gonna say two. The first thing is make sure you enjoy it. There'll be some nights where you think, fucking hell, what have I done here? But it's all worth it, I promise you. I'm absolutely certain of that. Enjoy it, because you don't get it back, right? They grow older. You don't get the time back. The second thing is, never let anyone tell you how you should parent. And if you've never done it before and it's your first, you learn along the way, right? And all kids are different, and all of us as human beings are different, and there's not a right or wrong, and you'll make mistakes along the way, and you learn from them. You learn what works for you and your family, right? So I think that's quite important as well. But yeah, the number one is like, enjoy it, because there's certain things like you just think, like, you forget them, they've happened. When did he first say that? When did he first do that? And because it happens over and over again, like, you don't. I wish I'd written things down, like every time he did something for the first time. I wish I'd written it down, you know. So, and that's not to say you should do something like that, because then you're almost not enjoying stuff in the moment quite in the same way. But yeah, I don't know, it wouldn't change anything for me. So yeah, enjoy it. It's the best thing. Rags326 says, thoughts on Longley at Villa. Yeah, again, something we covered on our Patreon pod yesterday. I think it's reasonable. It's obviously a stopgap for Villa, right? Lost Tyrone Mings. He offers cover in there. I think he's fine, to be honest. I don't think he's a bad player at all. I think he's very competent for what Villa want to be this year, for example. I think he gives good competition to Pau Torres on that side of the pitch. There's scope for them to play both there if they decide they want to use their fullback offensively from right back rather than left back. So I think, yeah, it's a sensible one, because Mings will be back in 12 months, right? So you want cover for 12 months. Rowan says, triple captain Haaland for me. Meninda says, just joined. Sorry if already covered, but any changes to Sky plans since Wednesday pod? No. So, as mentioned, obviously Gvardiol is, if he is a problem for the next couple of weeks, then he probably is the outgoing to Awoniyi next weekend, which is obviously in 2 weeks. But yeah, plan for me is Nakamba to Bissouma tomorrow. Otherwise, powder dry this weekend. Adam Melvin says, my team Ipswich just signed Dane Scarlett. Can you give any insight? Great stream as always. Best of luck for the game week. Yeah, I like Dane. His hold-up's quite underrated. His off-the-ball movement's really good. I think for a young forward, he's got a really good understanding of the game. His finishing is decent. Where he may have a little bit of a problem at the moment, he doesn't have any amazing trait. So he's not an amazing finisher, or he's not amazing in terms of his hold-up. He's not amazingly quick. But he's pretty good at everything, actually. I just hope he gets regular minutes. Otherwise, it's a complete waste from a Tottenham perspective. But I like Dane. He's been called up to the under-21 England squad, I think, which makes sense because that's a new kind of 2-year cycle now. He's 19. He's a pup. He did right at Portsmouth, but probably didn't get the goal numbers that people were expecting last year. This is another step up. He looks physically a little bit stronger than he did a year or so ago. But yeah, really like Dane. I couldn't say to you, I think he'll become a regular for Tottenham in the future. Like, I have no idea, but he's a really good talent, and I know Tottenham want him treated well, so I hope he gets good minutes. I would imagine there's probably still a little bit of relationship there with Tottenham and Kieran McKenna, so I would imagine there's probably been conversations that, yeah, he'll get regular minutes to make this worthwhile, I should imagine. Matt Martin says, do you play in a draft-style league? Yeah, I'm in a draft league with a few patrons, and I'm top of it at the moment, actually, Matt. I thought I'd get that in now because I'm sure it won't last. Although I did have the blessing of being first pick, which has never happened to me before. JB says, hi James, who do you think I picked? Hi James, from down under, why do some away teams choose to run towards their own supporters in the first half? Is it tactical or to piss off the home crowd sometimes? Spurs versus Brentford and not FV Man United. Well, some home teams like to do it. So, for example, Villa did that quite a bit last year, where they decided to attack the whole end in the first half. That was their choice to do that rather than the opposition. There's a few teams have tried that. I'm not a fan of it. I think you should go towards your home end in the second half, to be honest, would be my preference. But I don't mind it if your tactical idea, particularly in a big game, is to start really fast and then counter-attack afterwards, then it kind of does make more sense to do it that way. So, yeah, quite often teams will do it that way now. It's just psychological, right? It pisses the fans off before a game starts. You can hear the groans. My dad does it all the time. He's a fucking idiot. So, changing ends. Well, it's like, it's obvious, Dad. The opposition has won the toss, isn't it? And they've decided to turn it round to piss off people like you. So, yeah, there's a little bit of that. Very occasion, you can get certain grounds where the sun can end up quite low at certain grounds. And then that comes into play. So I think Goodison feels like one sometimes at certain points of the year. It can be an issue, despite the fact they've got the main stands really high. If it comes over the end opposite Gladys end, I forget what it's called, that can be kind of a low sun problem for goalkeepers on the Gladys Street end. So sun, wind, there can be other weather factors involved as well. But yeah, most of the time these days, it's just to piss off the home crowd, isn't it? And just take people out of their comfort zone. You've got a disadvantage when you're away from home, right? So if you can gain any advantage back psychologically, it's small gains, isn't it? Nicola Torco says, Forest apparently are making a late move for Divock Origi loan. Could be something, right? Thoughts about a move back to the Premier League for the ex-super sub? Yeah, I mean, Chris Wood is nothing like profile of Awoniyi. And if you have any doubts about that, look at Awoniyi's goal last week. So that's more of a similar profile. So it makes sense maybe if something was to happen to Awoniyi. D-Taff says, I bring my daughter up by myself. Rule number one for having children is choose the mum wisely. It's a bit late though. FPL Kratos says, hi James, just wondered about your thoughts on us still inverting with Trent. He's been poor in the last few games, and I wonder if Gravenberch signing might see us go back to more conventional 4-3-3. Might. As I said on this stream last week, I didn't think he would do it against Newcastle, and he didn't. They did start more traditionally. Not sure about Sunday, whether it comes back or not, but it could be that it's been binned. We have to remember, slot in the summer, we had to remember that, yeah, it looked good towards the end of last season, but those fixtures that they had were great. And the one that they've really struggled in, by the way, was Villa at home. Jamie Baker says, great advice. Thanks, James. Have a great week. You too, my friend. Good luck. Sweet Blue says, I had the first pick in draft, and I am 1-2, so no gimme. Yeah, true. Adam says, what did you think of the suggestion made to Raptor about only being able to ever captain a player for 2 games in a row? Like, we play under those rules in a league we have with our patrons and stuff separately. And it's kind of cool because it changes things up a little bit. But for the general masses, don't think it works. It's too complicated for people. People just want to go in. For us that's engaged, it's great. But for the majority of people, they just want to go in and want to pick the team, want to captain their favourite player. We live in this bubble where we think it's about us. It's not about us. It's about the 9 million players, or should I say the 5 million players and the 4 million robots from Indonesia. Mr. Tools said, there's nothing against Indonesia. It's just, check out other people's Twitter timelines. Mr. Tools says, will we ever see a 16-year-old playing in the Prem again? Yeah, I'm sure you absolutely will. Where do you find your spreadsheet on Patreon? That will be on the James Planner channel. So you can access Slack from Basic Plus tier and above. It's available from there, mate. So there's lots on there, beneficial for FPL, Sky Managers. I'll create, once the fixtures are done and stuff, at some point soon, UCL tab as well for UCL Fantasy. We'll be doing pods on that on Patreon, me and Clayton as well, in the next couple of weeks before obviously it starts and stuff. So yeah, there's a channel on our Slack called James Planner, and literally every time I do an update, it just goes in there. And sometimes it'll be like one update a week, or weeks like this when there's cup games in a week, it was like an update like every day. Well, I'll change something, which includes my projections for the season are done already. So, and I'll update them whenever that's done as well. So it's not so relevant now, but little things like that are in there. Right, I think that's it. Thank you very much to everybody who contributed in the chat, even those who repeat offended. If those who got muted don't like it, my DMs are open. We can have a discussion about it, and I'll probably forgive you if you have the courtesy to do so. That's it. Me and Suj will be back on Monday. Enjoy the game week. Come on Spurs tomorrow if your team's playing this weekend. Very best of luck. Best of luck to your FPL teams. And ciao for now, everyone.